Ever feel like you're talking to a brick wall? Like some people are speaking a completely different language.
Maybe they are.
Okay, well, not literally.
Well, in a way, yeah.
That's what we're diving into today. Different communication styles and how to finally understand those people you just can't seem to get through to.
Based on the book Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson.
Which I have to say, the title alone kind of grabs you.
It does. But it's not about name-calling. It's about recognizing that we all have different ways of communicating and interacting with the world.
And that sometimes those differences can make us feel like we're surrounded by, you know.
The book breaks down these differences into 4 personality types, each represented by a color. Red, yellow, green, and blue.
Like a traffic light of human interaction.
Yeah.
So are we going to sign each other colors right now?
Not quite, but the book does have a self-assessment you can take. We'll get to that later. First, let's dive into what makes each color tick.
All right, let's start with red. What are those folks all about?
Reds are your driven, assertive types. They're all about action, efficiency, getting things done.
Okay, so my boss, who sends emails at 3 a.m., red.
Possibly. Think of someone who walks into a room and immediately takes charge. That's your classic red. They're natural leaders, but can sometimes come across as, a little intense.
Yeah, impatient, maybe a bit bossy.
Exactly. But it's not that they're trying to be difficult, it's just how they're wired.
So how do you talk to a red without, ending up on their bad side?
Be direct, concise, focus on results. They don't have time for beating around the bush.
Straight to the point, got it. Okay, what about yellow?
Ah, the yellows. They're your social butterflies full of energy and enthusiasm, always optimistic, love connecting with people.
So the life of the party. Always got a smile on their face.
Definitely. They bring a spark to every interaction. But they can also be a bit scattered, prone to jumping between tasks, not always the best with details.
Sounds like someone I know. Always got a million ideas, but never seems to finish anything.
Could be a yellow, but remember, these aren't bad traits. It's just about understanding their strengths and weaknesses.
All right, we've got the driven reds, the enthusiastic yellows. What about green?
Greens are the peacekeepers. They value harmony and stability above all else. They're patient, calm, and create a sense of stability wherever they go.
So the friend who always knows how to calm everyone down when things get heated.
Exactly. They're the glue that holds a team together. But they can also be conflict-averse, hesitant to rock the boat.
Which could be tough in a fast-paced business environment.
Right. It can be, but their ability to create a collaborative atmosphere is invaluable. They're the ones who make sure everyone feels heard and respected.
Okay, last but not least, we've got blue. What's their deal?
The blues, they're the thinkers, the analysts. They love to delve into the details, make sure everything is accurate and precise.
They're the ones who triple-check everything and catch all the typos?
Absolutely. They thrive on logic and order. But they can also get bogged down in the details, sometimes struggle with adaptability.
So if you need a plan perfectly executed, call a blue. But if you need to improvise on the fly, maybe not so much.
Exactly. It's all about understanding how these different personality types approach the world. And remember, most people are a blend of colors.
Right, so you're not just one thing or the other. It's more nuanced than that.
It is. And once you understand your own color tendencies and those of the people around you, you can start to adjust your communication style for more effective and, dare I say, harmonious interactions.
So less talking to brick walls, more actually getting through to people.
Precisely. It's like having a secret decoder ring for human behavior.
All right, I'm sold. Tell me more about how I figure out my own color and how to use this whole system to actually improve my life.
Well, first things first, let's talk about how each color tends to behave in different situations.
Okay, for example.
The book actually starts with this great story about the author's father, a red-yellow personality, who could accurately estimate the volume of a gravel pile just by looking at it.
Wait, what? Just eyeballing it.
Yeah, apparently. It just shows you how differently people's brains work, right?
That's wild. I definitely couldn't do that. I mean, I can barely match my socks in the morning.
Well, that's okay. Everyone has their own unique strengths, and this book is all about helping you identify those strengths, both in yourself and others.
So back to the colors. Let's break down what each one looks like in action. What kind of things would a red do that would totally make a green cringe?
Let's see. A red might barge into a meeting and immediately take control, interrupting others and dictating the agenda. A green, on the other hand, would likely prefer a more collaborative approach, where everyone has a chance to share their thoughts and feelings.
Oh, I can see that clash happening already. The red's all about efficiency, getting things done, while the green's prioritizing harmony and making sure everyone feels included.
Exactly. And it's not that one way is right or wrong, it's just different. And recognizing those differences can help you avoid unnecessary conflict and communicate more effectively.
Okay, so if I'm dealing with a red, I need to be direct and to the point, no messing around. What about a yellow? How do I get them to actually focus on something for more than 5 minutes?
With yellows, it's all about keeping things light and engaging. They thrive on energy and enthusiasm, so matching their vibe can go a long way.
So no long, boring presentations. Got to keep it snappy and fun.
Exactly. And always be ready to brainstorm and bounce ideas around. Yellows love to collaborate and explore new possibilities.
Okay, got it. So how about greens? What makes them tick? What do I need to know to work effectively with them?
Greens are all about creating a sense of safety and collaboration. They need to feel like they're part of the decision-making process, and they appreciate a calm and respectful approach.
So no surprises or sudden changes. They need to feel like things are under control.
Yes, predictability is key. When communicating with a green, emphasize teamwork, shared goals, and the importance of maintaining a positive and harmonious environment.
That makes sense. And finally, we have the blues. What's the secret to communicating with someone who's so detail-oriented and analytical?
With a blue, you need to be prepared. Have your facts straight, present your ideas logically, and be ready to answer their detailed questions.
No winging it with them, huh? Got to have all your ducks in a row.
Definitely. And always be respectful of their need for accuracy and precision.
Okay, this is all super helpful, but I have to admit, I'm a little nervous about putting people into these color categories. It feels a bit, I don't know, judgmental.
I get that. And it's important to remember that these colors are just a framework for understanding different personality types. It's not about labeling people or putting them in boxes.
Right, it's about understanding those tendencies so you can adjust your communication style and work together more effectively.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that most people are a blend of colors. You might be predominantly a red, but with some yellow tendencies, or a green with a touch of blue. It's about recognizing those nuances in yourself and others.
So how do I figure out my own color? Does the book have some kind of personality test?
It does. Erikson includes a self-assessment tool to help you identify your dominant color. And remember, it's not about fitting into a rigid category, but about gaining self-awareness and understanding how your unique blend of colors influences how you interact with the world.
This is where it starts to get really interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because once you understand your own color and the colors of the people you interact with, you can start to tailor your communication style for more effective and harmonious interactions.
Precisely. And the book provides specific tips on how to communicate effectively with each color. Think of it like a cheat sheet for navigating those tricky conversations and building stronger relationships.
Okay, so let's say I've figured out my color, and I'm trying to have a conversation with someone who's a completely different color. How do I actually apply this stuff in real life?
Well, let's dive into some specific scenarios. For example, imagine you're pitching a business idea.
Okay, I'm listening.
And the person you're pitching to is a classic red. What's the best way to get through to them?
Well, knowing reds, they're all about results, efficiency. So I guess I wouldn't want to waste their time with a long, rambling presentation.
Exactly. You'd get straight to the point, highlighting the potential for quick wins and a strong return on investment.
No fluff, just the facts.
Precisely. Now imagine you're trying to collaborate on a project with a green. How would you approach that differently?
Well, greens are all about harmony and collaboration, so I'd probably want to create a really inclusive environment, make sure everyone feels heard and valued.
Yes. And you'd probably want to present a clear plan with detailed steps so they feel like things are under control.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about yellows? How do I get them to stay focused and on track?
With yellows, it's all about keeping things fun and engaging. They thrive on energy and enthusiasm, so you might want to incorporate some visual elements, brainstorm together, and highlight the exciting aspects of the project.
Got it. So no long, boring meetings with yellows. Keep it lively.
Exactly. And finally, what about blues? How would you adjust your approach for them?
Well, knowing blues are all about accuracy and precision, I definitely want to have all my data in order, my arguments well supported, and be prepared to answer their detailed questions.
Perfect. Blues thrive on logic and order, so a well-structured approach will go a long way.
This is all making so much sense now. I can already see how this could be a game changer in so many areas of my life.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. As we dive deeper into the book, we'll explore even more practical strategies for applying these color profiles to improve communication, build stronger teams, and even spark new business ideas.
Wow, I'm really excited to see where this goes. Before we move on, though, I want to circle back to that story about the author's dad and the gravel pile. That just blew my mind. Do you think there's a connection between personality type and certain skills or talents?
That's a great question, and I think it's definitely something to consider. While the book doesn't go into specific skills, it does highlight how different personality types tend to approach problem solving and decision making differently.
Right, like a red might be more inclined to take quick, decisive action, while a blue might prefer to gather all the data and analyze every angle before making a move.
Exactly. And a yellow might rely on intuition and gut feelings, while a green might seek out collaboration and consensus before taking any action.
It's fascinating to think about how those different approaches can lead to both strengths and weaknesses. Like a red's decisiveness could be a huge asset in a crisis, but it could also lead to hasty decisions that backfire.
Absolutely. And a blue's analytical mind can be invaluable for problem solving, but it could also lead to analysis paralysis and a fear of taking risks.
It's all about finding that balance,
Right.
recognizing the potential pitfalls of your dominant color and finding ways to mitigate them.
Exactly. And that's where self-awareness comes in. The more you understand your own tendencies, the better equipped you'll be to leverage your strengths and navigate potential challenges.
So it sounds like understanding these color profiles can help us not only understand others better, but also understand ourselves better.
Absolutely. It's a journey of self-discovery as much as it is a guide to understanding others.
I love that. So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge. Think about the people you interact with the most. Your colleagues, your family, your friends. What color do you think they are? And how can you use this new knowledge to improve your communication with them?
That's a great challenge. And remember, it's not about labeling people, it's about understanding them better and finding ways to connect on a deeper level.
This is just the beginning of our exploration of Surrounded by Idiots. In our next segment, we'll delve into how these color profiles can help you build stronger teams, navigate conflict more effectively, and even spark innovative business ideas.
And we'll also talk about how to deal with those times when, despite our best efforts, we still feel like we're surrounded by idiots.
Stay tuned for more. So we've talked about the different colors, how to spot them, how to talk to them, but how does all this actually help us in the real world? Like, can understanding these personality types actually make us more successful?
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the most exciting aspects of this book. It's not just about improving communication, it's about unlocking a whole new level of understanding that can impact every area of your life, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. How can this color system actually help me, say, come up with a killer business idea?
Well, think about it. If you can understand the core motivations and needs of each color type, you can tailor your products, services, even your entire business model to appeal to them more effectively.
Okay, so it's like market research, but instead of demographics, I'm looking at personality types.
Exactly. It's about seeing the world through the eyes of your potential customers. What frustrates them? What are their aspirations? What kind of solutions are they craving?
So, for example, if I'm targeting reds, I'd want to emphasize efficiency, results, a clear path to success.
Spot on. Think time-saving tools, productivity hacks, anything that helps them achieve their goals faster and more effectively.
And what about yellows? What kind of businesses would resonate with them?
Yellows thrive on social interaction, creativity, and new experiences. So businesses that tap into those needs would be a natural fit.
Okay, so maybe something in the entertainment industry, social media, travel.
You got it. Anything that allows them to connect with others, express themselves creatively, and have fun while doing it.
All right, so reds are all about results, yellows are all about experiences. What about greens? What makes them tick?
Greens value harmony, stability, and a sense of community. They're drawn to businesses that promote well-being, sustainability, and ethical practices.
So maybe something in the health and wellness space, organic food,
Hmm.
eco-friendly product.
Exactly. Greens are looking for businesses that align with their values and make them feel good about their choices.
Okay, and last but not least, what about blues? What kind of businesses would capture their attention?
Blues are all about logic, precision, and accuracy. They're drawn to businesses that offer high-quality products, detailed information, and a clear, systematic approach.
So maybe something in technology, data analysis, financial services.
You nailed it. Blues want to know that they're making informed decisions based on solid data and logical reasoning.
This is all really making me think differently about how I approach business. It's not just about creating a great product. It's about understanding who you're creating it for and how to speak their language.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this system is that it can be applied to any industry, any business model. It's all about understanding your target audience on a deeper level.
Okay, so let's say I've got this amazing business idea and I'm ready to build a team.
Yeah.
How can this color system help me create a dream team that actually works well together?
That's where it gets really interesting. Because just like you can tailor your business to different personality types, you can also build a team that leverages the strengths of each color.
So it's not just about hiring the most talented people, it's about finding the right mix of personalities.
Exactly. You want a team that's diverse in terms of their thinking styles and approaches to problem solving.
Okay, so walk me through it. What would an ideal dream team look like, color-wise?
Well, you definitely want a red on board to drive the vision forward, set ambitious goals, and keep everyone motivated.
Okay, got it. Someone to light the fire and keep things moving. What else?
You'd also want a yellow to bring the energy, enthusiasm, and creative spark. They're the idea generators, the networkers, the ones who keep things fun and engaging.
All right, so we've got the drive of a red, the spark of a yellow. Who else do we need?
Well, no team is complete without a green to foster harmony, collaboration, and a sense of community. They're the peacekeepers, the ones who make sure everyone feels heard and valued.
Right, so they keep the team cohesive and prevent things from getting too chaotic. What about the blues? Where do they fit in?
Ah, the blues. They're the ones who keep things running smoothly behind the scenes. They're the analysts, the planners, the ones who dot every I and cross every T.
So they're essential for ensuring quality control, accuracy, and attention to detail.
Precisely. And together, these four colors create a balanced, dynamic team that can tackle any challenge.
This is making me realize that maybe some of the team conflicts I've experienced in the past were due to personality clashes, not just differences of opinion.
It's definitely possible. And the book goes into great detail about how to manage conflict between different color types. We'll dive into that more in our next segment.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to that. But before we move on, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier. The idea that understanding these color profiles isn't just about understanding others, it's also about understanding ourselves.
Absolutely. And that's one of the most valuable takeaways from this book. Because once you understand your own color tendencies, you can start to leverage your strengths and navigate potential challenges more effectively.
So for example, if I know I'm a red, I might need to be more mindful of my tendency to be overly assertive or impatient.
Exactly. And a yellow might need to work on their follow-through and ability to stay focused on a single task.
A green might need to practice setting boundaries and voicing their opinions, even when it might disrupt harmony.
And a blue might need to find ways to be more flexible and adaptable in the face of unexpected changes or setbacks.
It's all about recognizing those potential blind spots and finding ways to balance them out, creating a more well-rounded and effective approach to leadership and teamwork.
Precisely. And the book provides a ton of practical tips and strategies for doing just that. We'll delve into some of those in our next segment as well.
Fantastic. I can't wait to learn more. This is already making me rethink how I approach my work, my relationships, even just how I see myself.
That's what's so powerful about this book. It's not just a guide to understanding other people. It's a tool for understanding yourself and unlocking your full potential.
I love that. So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to challenge our listeners to do a little self-reflection. What are your dominant colors? What are your strengths? What are your potential blind spots? And how can you use this knowledge to create a more successful and fulfilling life, both personally and professionally?
That's a great challenge. And remember, it's all about taking these insights and applying them to your own journey, whether you're building a business, leading a team, or simply navigating the complexities of human interaction.
This has been an amazing conversation so far. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what Surrounded by Idiots has to offer.
I agree. And in our final segment, we'll dive even deeper into the practical applications of this book, exploring how to navigate conflict, build stronger teams, and use this knowledge to create a more fulfilling and successful life.
Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, from identifying our own colors to understanding how to communicate with each color type, even building dream teams based on these personality profiles.
But let's be real for a second.
Please?
Even with all this knowledge, there are still going to be times when we feel like we're surrounded by, well, idiots.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm picturing myself at a family gathering right now, and yes, some of those color clashes are inevitable.
Right. So what do we do when those moments happen? When, despite our best efforts to communicate effectively, we still hit a wall?
Yeah, because it's easy to talk about this stuff in theory, but putting it into practice, especially when emotions are running high, that's a whole other challenge.
It is. And the book actually addresses this head on. It acknowledges that even with the best intentions, Sometimes those communication breakdowns are unavoidable.
Okay, so what's the solution? How do we prevent those situations from turning into full-blown disasters?
Well, the first step is recognizing that it's happening. Being aware of those moments when you're feeling frustrated, misunderstood, or like you're talking to a brick wall.
Okay, so self-awareness is key. But what then? Do I just walk away? Throw my hands up in the air and say, you're a red, I'm a blue, we're never going to get along?
Well, it's not quite that simple, but sometimes taking a step back, a deep breath, can be helpful. Remember, you can't control other people's behavior. You can only control your own reactions.
Right, so instead of getting caught up in the frustration, try to detach a little and observe the situation from a more neutral perspective.
Exactly. And remember what we talked about earlier, most people are a blend of colors. So even if someone's exhibiting strong red tendencies in that moment, there might be other ways to connect with them.
Okay, so maybe try appealing to their green side, emphasizing the need for collaboration, and finding a solution that works for everyone.
Exactly. Or if you're dealing with a blue who's getting bogged down in the details, try appealing to their red side by highlighting the bigger picture and the need for decisive action.
So it's like we're using these color profiles as a roadmap, but we're also allowed to deviate from the route if needed.
Precisely. It's about being flexible, adaptable, and always remembering that communication is a two-way street.
This is all starting to click for me now. It's not about putting people in boxes. It's about using these insights to build bridges and navigate those tricky interpersonal moments with more grace and understanding.
Exactly. And that's the ultimate goal, right? To create a world where we can all communicate more effectively, understand each other better, and maybe, just maybe, feel a little less surrounded by idiots.
Well said. This has been an amazing deep dive. I feel like I've gained so much valuable insight from Surrounded by Idiots. Not only about how to communicate with different personality types, but also about myself and how I can show up more effectively in my interactions.
Me too. It's a book that I think everyone can benefit from, whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or simply someone who wants to improve their relationships and communication skills.
Absolutely. And I love how the book doesn't just present these color profiles as static labels, but rather as a framework for understanding the dynamic and nuanced ways we all interact with the world.
Right. It's not about putting people in boxes. It's about recognizing the beautiful diversity of human behavior and finding ways to appreciate and leverage those differences.
Well said. And on that note, I want to thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of personality types. We hope you've gained some valuable insights that you can start applying to your own life.
And remember, this is just the beginning. The more you explore these concepts, the more you'll discover about yourself and the people around you.
So keep learning, keep growing, and keep those conversations flowing. Until next time.